All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. It was a shocker, but also it wasn't a shocker. As on Sunday, we know that the news broke that the Boston Red Sox were sending Rafael Devers to the San Francisco Giants. You could see the writing on the wall for this one. And it had been that way for quite some time as the trouble began to brew between Devers and the Red Sox from the moment that this team signed Alex Bregman to play third base. The issues with Devers not wanting to play first base to the point that not even John Henry himself was able to broker peace. And subsequently, the Red Sox just sent another key piece from their last World Series champion to the West Coast as Devers and Mookie Betts are now at the opposite ends of one of baseball's most historic rivalry. And then on top of that, let's not forget that Xander Bogaerts left Boston several years ago as well to sign with the San Diego Padres. Now you got all three of these guys who were big parts of the Red Sox championship team in 2018, all in the National League West, all in the state of California. But you look at things for the Boston Red Sox and you ask yourself, and I had asked myself this a while back, are the Red Sox rebuilding? And if so, what is their plan? I mean, it's been 3 straight years without a trip to the postseason for Boston or a winning record for that matter. And you look at the Red Sox right now, they've gotten things turned around. I feel like they're going to be an up and down team all season. That's the way I viewed the Red Sox coming out of spring training here in June. That's still how I feel Boston is. Okay. But nonetheless, you've got to ask yourself as an organization, where have things gone wrong for the Red Sox? And for me, I feel like Boston just has not been right ever since they traded Mookie Betts to the Los Angeles Dodgers. And since that time, and it's only gotten worse, in my opinion, I just feel like the Red Sox as an organization have just lacked an identity. Okay. And I'm not really sure where this team is going to go. Are they going to rebuild? Are they going to contend? And it's one of those, one moment they look like they want to rebuild. Then it's like, well, we want to go spend some money and it doesn't work out. I mean, you think about all of the money that Boston threw at Trevor Story a couple of years ago, and I, like myself, who anybody who follows this team, like like you saw Trevor Story play in Colorado, it wasn't pretty. So what makes you think he's going to go to Boston and it's going to be even better? And clearly, it hasn't. But nonetheless, with the Red Sox, I just simply don't know where this team is going. Okay. But on the flip side of this, for the San Francisco Giants, and if you're a fan of that team, you should be ecstatic about this trade, in my opinion. It's another bat in the lineup for the Giants, especially right now with the Matt Chapman injury. And you think about what Devers brings to the table. He's a professional hitter who I think is going to fall in love with hitting, down the right field line at Oracle Park as well as into the gap in right center. And of course, Devers is not a pull hitter. He can hit the ball, the different parts of the park. I mean, we're talking about a guy this season alone, he was hitting 272, 15 home runs, 58 runs batted in. We're talking about a guy who in 8+ seasons with Boston had 215 home runs, which was 10th most already in the history of that franchise. And he was a Yankee killer because he always seemed to get the big hit for the Red Sox against the New York Yankees. But nonetheless, getting back to the Giants from this trade, I really feel, and I've been talking about Buster Posey, and I said Buster Posey was going to have an impact on this team. This further illustrates now that he is the president of baseball operations for San Francisco, how serious he is about once again making the Giants a contender. Again, San Francisco, like the Red Sox, 3 consecutive losing seasons. All right. The Giants are trying to get back, their identity. But at least with Posey, we know that the Giants have somewhat of a plan, and they're going back to the formula that helped them win three championships during the decade of the 2010s. And that formula is this: strong pitching and timely hitting. They've already got the strong pitching in place. And I think a bat like Rafael Devers is definitely going to help them now throughout the rest of the season, and more importantly, in the postseason, should the Giants get there. And I do expect the Giants to be playing October baseball, just my opinion. But nonetheless, Devers, I think, is going to find a new home in San Francisco. I think he's going to blend in well. I think he's going to go out there and he's going to be a model citizen. And then on top of that, I think he's going to be motivated because I think he wants to put the stench of how his tenure in Boston ended. It wasn't pretty. Very rarely is it pretty at the end, but I think this is a fresh start for him, and this is a fresh opportunity for him going forward. And I think he's going to make the most of it. Okay. I look at Boston right now, and I think it's one of those where it's unfortunate that the trade happened, but it had to happen. Okay. And again, I feel like this was probably the best resolution for the Red Sox as possible because no matter what, this was going to linger over their heads. Um, it's one of those where I'm not going to sit up here and throw a pity party for Rafael Devers either on this matter because there's plenty of blame, to go in his direction as well. But it's one of those I really think it was in the best interest for all parties involved to allow Rafael Devers to go to another team now in another league altogether and go out there and continue his baseball career. Quality player, but at the end of the day, he wore out his welcome with the Red Sox. And I think at the end of the day, there was really no love lost between player and organizations. It's going to be very interesting this weekend because you got the Red Sox and Giants set to face off at Oracle, two of MLB's most iconic franchises. It would have been very interesting to see if this meeting was going to play out at Fenway. That, of course, is not the case. And I say that because I would really have been interested to see what type of reception that the Fenway faithful would have given Rafael Devers after all of this went down. But nonetheless, I think Devers is going to be locked in with the Giants for the rest of the season. I think he's going to do everything that he needs to do in order to ingratiate himself to his new team. And I think the best thing for the Red Sox going forward, they've got to play their young guys. Okay, you've got to see what these guys have. But again, the Red Sox have to show that they have some type of plan. The Red Sox have honestly, they haven't had a plan since they last won the World Series in 2018. And it's hard to believe that was already 7 years ago in Boston. I'm not sure what the Red Sox are doing, and I feel like in some cases neither are they. Okay, but nonetheless, to cap it all off, a move that had to be made. Okay, you knew that Rafael Devers could not stay in Boston long term after everything went down with him at third base. The writing was on the wall. He's a San Francisco Giant. The Boston Red Sox are going forward, and let's see how this works out for all parties involved. But, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank each and every one of you for checking out the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. And as always, if you like what you heard and saw in this podcast, you know what to do. Hit that like button as well as subscribing to this channel. Like I always say, it is greatly appreciated. Also, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you give me that follow, I'll give you that follow right back. The same can be said for Instagram, where you can check me out at 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge. Same thing. You give me that follow, I'll give you that follow right back. Also, you can check us out on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. And as far as I'm concerned, one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. But until next time, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I'm signing off and I'm saying thanks once again for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. Be well, everybody.